どうも、ザ・ビギナーズガイドやっていこうと思います。こちらのゲームはですね、簡単に説明すると、作者とその知人における一連の物語っていうのを少し一風変わった風な感じで、体験していくっていうような感じのゲームです。とりあえずやってみましょうか。
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
ということですね。全く喋る隙間はないんですけど、個人的にちょっとね、気になったんで、やっていこうと思います。FPS はね。でね、プレイしながら文字を読むからね、ところどころね、内容が抜けるかもしれないんだよね。ちゃんと撃てるね。ただ、リロードはないけど。こんな感じでね、もうさっきので分かったと思うけど、こんな感じのゲームを巡っていくゲームでございます。ゲーム制作を志している者からしたら入れないのかよ。
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
なるほどね。
For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
確かに打ち
But
切ったね。
ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shield evacuation.
まあ、このゲーム制作を
I love how you
志す
can
者
see
から
the
したら
bottom of the universe from this
もう
room.
喋ろうと思ってるんだけど、俺。喋ろう、違う、志す者からしたら、このレベルはどれだけのものなんだろうね。まあ、それなりだと俺は思うんだけど。
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it.
参ったね。
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the
Oh,
interest of
ありがたい。
time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
お、優しい。
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
そうだね。お、
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
まあ、プレイヤーに自殺させるっていう、まあ言い方は悪いけどね。まあ圧倒的なセンスを感じるよね。
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
お、えいや、バグってことね。スペースってやつだな。
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
お。あ、動けるね。
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
バックにしかできないんだけど。要は S キーしか反応しないんだけど。過去は彼女の背後にあった。大変だな。これなかなかプレイヤー、まあ適当にあれか。
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
すごい
It
セン
is
スが
less
あるよね。
advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
いやもうこの時点でセンスがあるよね。おまあこういうゲームに触発されてゲームが作りたくなるっていうのはなんとなくわからんでもないね。立ち止まり見渡せばはっきりと見えてくる。いいね。こういう雰囲気すごい好きなんだけど、いかんせん後ろ向きにしか歩けないから見れないわけだよ。だがもし未来があれば、彼女の背後にあれば、未来が彼女の背後にあれば、彼女は強くなれず、これに立ち向かえない。そうね、確かに。
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
まあさっきのゲームは何かを伝えるという点ですごい いいゲームではある。ただあれでお金を取られたらたまったもんじゃないよね。この先侵入点。
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
まあ人に大きくよるよね。この、まあ、
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
どこもかしこもナンセンス。
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
まあこのゲーム、まあこのコーダ氏が作ったゲームではなくて、おお何？
Once you've
全然
been
動かないん
slowed
だ。
to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
お、戻った。先走りすぎかな。すごい遮られるんだけど、まあ俺の言葉なんかどうでもいいよね。ああ、これ全部あれだね。
A room that's warm
そう、ゲームの小さなアイデアだね。
and
もう俺の発言本当にいらないな。
for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
めっちゃ長い文章のだけで進行するゲーム。ちょっと個人的にパッと見た感じ気になるのこれね。形のない騒音が主人公。人々をもうちょい読ましてよ。位置について用意。魚。まあミラーズエッジとかでありそうな。
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
お、パズ
Go
ル。
ahead and see if you can solve it.
ちょっと目に見えるんだけど、これ下ろしたら終わりじゃないよね。ナイスパズル。これは開いてるようにも見えないんだけどさ。ああああ、なるほど。
Don't forget that
合ってたん
solution
だ。
because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
時たまこれ出てくるけどなんだろうね。そのたくさんは全部一致するっていう意味ではないよね。
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end.
いっぱい出てくるって言ったじゃん。
Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
こう見せてもらおう。これ自動生成じゃなければ作った努力がすごいね。
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
お、まだ侵入点か。まあ入ったから出てかないとね。
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.